Ladies and gentlemen, the Final Four is set, and I have to say that this is definitely one of the most down to the wire, nail biting, twist and turn. I didn't expect for that team to be there. Where did this team come from? Tournaments and NCAA history. This is why college football should implement something like this, because a true national champion will be crowned in North Texas. And man, I just got done watching the Kentucky and Michigan game, coming straight down to the wire, man. Kentucky advancing to the Final Four. It's just unbelievable games, just close, close calls, all tournament long. It was basically impossible with a capital I to just sit there and to pick a winner out of all these teams. But yeah, this is the WC. This is the Final Four prediction breakdown video, and I will be doing a video following the Final Four with a preview of the national championship game. Now this video right here is going to basically give keys to victory for both games and give a prediction of who's going to be in the national championship game. And then the next video, I'll basically be breaking down the national championship game on who I think is going to be, in the national championship game and win it. Now, let's start with the first matchup. Now, the first matchup of the Final Four is a familiar one. Now, if you watched the game earlier in the season, okay, watched the game earlier in the season between Florida and Connecticut, you know that Connecticut came out and hit that last minute shot to basically stun the Gators. I mean, they stunned them. And this time around, I can't sit here and say that I can see Connecticut doing that again. Now, the Huskies have had an up and down season. Like, they're one of those teams that are a 7 seed, just coming from out of absolutely nowhere. All right. And being in the Final Four, I knew that there was going to be one team for sure that would come from out of nowhere. And, I wasn't expecting for it to be Connecticut, but I did put a spotlight on, Connecticut in the first video I did, about the first round games, that, the 7-10 seed game could, produce a team that could just go to the Final Four that could surprise people. I thought, for a second, I thought it was going to be Dayton. I mean, Dayton had me going for a while, but it ended up being Connecticut. And Connecticut has played some, very good teams this year, like Florida Gators. But, the first matchup, I have to keep harping on the first matchup between the Huskies and the Gators. I don't think that, Connecticut is going to be able to put on a repeat performance of, what they did to Florida in the Final Four. I just don't see it. I just see the Gators doing what they do. But the keys to victory for that game, and then I'll go on to the Wisconsin and Kentucky matchup. The keys to victory for Florida is basically, spread the floor, push the tempo. I think that, the Huskies want to make sure that they keep this game close, like they did, earlier in the season with the earlier in the season matchup. Keeping the game close and managing the clock. All right. I think that the more that the Gators force the issue, up tempo offense, they hit those guys on the on the wings for open jumpers and threes. I think that the Gators will have probably a good, an easy time against the Huskies. Now, for the Huskies to win this game, they have to put on a repeat performance of what they did, earlier in the season. Now, one thing that you have to know about the number one teams in the country, all right? All the number one teams in the country usually have the same makeup. They know how to rebound, they know how to shoot the timely three, and they can get scoring from off the bench. They can get 30 from out of anywhere. They can get 30 points from out of anywhere. All right. Connecticut has to control the tempo of this game. Basically like the polar opposite of what the Florida Gators have to do. Connecticut has to use the time clock and get quality possessions. If Connecticut turns the ball over about 12 to about 15 times, the Gators are going to blow them out. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna blow them out. But they have to control the ball and they have to get quality possessions in order to win this game. Ultimately, I think that the Gators are just a better team. The Connecticut is more than capable of beating the Gators, as you've seen earlier in the season. But I think that the Gators, are going to be reminded by Billy Donovan. I think that he's just going to remind these cats that this is what they did to you earlier in the season. This is how you get your own revenge on the path to the national championship. It's almost like, all right, well, we got you. We got you for what you did to us earlier. Now, going on to the second game, Kentucky and John Calipari against Bo Ryan and Wisconsin. I think that this is probably going to be the best matchup between the two games in the Final Four because both of these teams are so evenly matched. I mean, both of these teams can shoot the three. Both of these teams have guys that facilitate well. Bo Ryan. Let me speak on Bo Ryan and the Wisconsin Badgers real quick. Bo Ryan has had this team on the brink of being in the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? Just for so long now. I mean, just getting over that hump. And it's honestly, I'm not even a Wisconsin Badger fan, but coaches like Bo Ryan, I appreciate guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to see them working. And when you see, my previous videos, which I'll link down below, I was talking about coaches being a factor in the outcome of this tournament. And I think that Bo Ryan is a direct, you know, cog in what that whole argument is. Just getting the best out of his Badgers. Now, I thought that they were going to pack it in at some time or point, but they just didn't. And they're here in the Final Four against John Calipari and Kentucky. And I don't mean to say it like I'm sucking up to Calipari, but that guy's just a winner, man. I mean he gets the best players. He knows how to control those players, how to get the best out of his players. He's just another coach that just gets the best out of his players. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Kevin Ali, who's a new coach, coaching the Huskies, and he's into this mix. But you have three other coaches in the Final Four that have either been here before, or just plain and simple, just get the best out of their team. I mean, it's amazing just to see how much coaching really does matter in the game of college basketball in particular. You could say college football too, with guys like Alabama head coach Nick Saban. You could say that too. He just gets the best out of his team. But anyway, going on to the breakdown of what Wisconsin has to do in order to beat Kentucky. Look, Wisconsin has been doing one thing in this tournament that I think that they haven't been doing in other tournaments, and that's hitting the big shots, hitting the shots when it matters the most. All right, and they have to hit the shots, the open shots, because there's going to be open shots against Kentucky, as you've seen from the Michigan game. There's going to be open shots for these guys to take, but they just have to make them. They can't go 3 from 10 from the from the 3-point line in the first half and still be in the game. All right, because Kentucky and Calipari and those guys, they can do just about everything the right way, and they're starting to hit their stride. I mean, they're probably the most scariest team that's left in the tournament out of the 4 teams. They're probably the most scariest team, even more scarier than Connecticut, coming from out of absolutely nowhere. I mean, people thought that Kentucky being the 8th seed coming into the final, coming into the tournament, it's like, wow, this team's an 8th seed. So, just looking at it, Wisconsin has to hit the open shots. And as far as Kentucky goes, Kentucky just has to do what they do best. All right, run. Run, 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 run. The more that they run, it's almost similar to, the Gators. Them going up against the Gators. They just have to run. They have to force the issue. They have to force, Wisconsin out of their half-court game. All right. And, and get these guys out of rhythm, out of focus, and, just rattle them. Just like they did Michigan. But Michigan was able to stand toe to toe with them in that game, but they ultimately failed because of the fact that the tempo was just way too fast at the end of the day. So all four of these matchups, I mean, all four of these matchups, all four of these teams are worthy of national championship right now. I mean, it would be a great story for Connecticut to win a national championship. It would be a great story that, Wisconsin, after all these years, with Bo Ryan being one of the best coaches in America, finally winning it. Kyler Perry's resume with another national championship, and then Billy Donovan with another national championship. The Final Four is going to be a very, very interesting watch on April the 5th. You know, it's the WC. Matter of fact, I didn't give a prediction on, the Wisconsin and Kentucky game. At this point, I mean, like I said, this game is going to be so close to call. Um, at this point, I just think that, you know, Kentucky. I just think that Kentucky is just going to take that game. And I'm saying that off the top of my head. This is a fresh reaction video after the Kentucky Michigan game. So after what I saw and the cold-blooded three to put them ahead, and seeing what Wisconsin did, if Wisconsin went to the national championship game, I would not be shocked. Either one of these teams, I'd not be shocked. If Connecticut beats Florida again, that would be shocked. That would be shocking to me. But either way, the Final Four is going to be a great watch. It's the end of March Madness. Now we're getting into April Fools and everything like that. So hope you guys had enjoyed the tournament. I enjoyed doing these videos on the tournament and everything. Make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. It's the WC with a breakdown of the Final Four right after the Final Four has been completed. This is before anybody else has done it. So make sure that you go ahead and hit the like button, man. I hear the music cutting me off, so I got to stop talking. See you guys next time.